Equinoxe Télévision, au-delà de l'image, nous rendons compte.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for staying with us on the special edition of the 6 p.m. primetime newscast on Equinoxe Television. We are immensely sorry for the late start. Our major story tonight: Professor Maurice Kamto is calling for unity among opposition candidates in the October 12 presidential election, warning that egocentric stances could compromise victory. Kamto emphasizes the need for a united front to challenge the ruling party effectively. His appeal comes amid ongoing debates and divisions within the opposition, with some parties exploring alliances to strengthen their chances. That is our lone major story tonight. The news in full in a jiffy. Thank you so much for staying with us on this edition of the news. For presentation, I am Immaculate Fogwe. Several business places have been sealed by the Limbe City Council as local authorities continue to discourage the population from respecting lockdown. The sealing exercise was witnessed by the Senior Divisional Officer for Fako Division, who used the opportunity to reiterate the fact that peace exists in Limbe. Those who adhere to the decision of separatists will have to pay accordingly. Smajikan Gabriel reports.
It was a special deployment on the streets of Limbe as the top administrator, the senior divisional officer, Vian Mekala, accompanied by the city mayor, Efomen Gale, alongside security forces, embarked on sealing stores in the OPEC city. Their first stopover was at banking institutions situated along the Down Beach zone that have remained closed since last Monday. For those whose occupants weren't around, a seal carrying the logo of the Limbe City Council was placed on their door, while those which are operating using their back doors had serious warnings from the civil administrator.
That is security. Or you tell them that they cannot work because they don't security. No, we didn't tell them that we cannot work. The businessmen are complaining because they cannot carry out their activities without the answer. Okay, if the people decide to receive them back to the hand, the security. You said yes, I said no. I said no. You said yes, I said no. You are not there, you can move. It should not be like that.
They were later forced to open their main door that was locked. At another business place, the senior divisional officer, who felt that the manager opened the door because of fear of being sealed, gave this advice. Apart from the Down Beach zone that was touched by the crack team led by the senior divisional officer of Fako, other business operators in neighborhoods like Newtown, Mile 1 and Church Street also saw their business places sealed for not opening. The operation is expected to spread to other neighborhoods within the seaside resort town of Limbe. The outing comes after firm instructions from the governor of the Southwest region, Bernard Okalia Bilai, who held a security meeting a day after the new school year began.
And the ongoing crisis in the Southwest region has forced families to stay indoors and kept children out of school in most parts of that region. As the situation worsens, both community members and civil society groups are raising concerns about the impact on education and daily life. Rex Afon spoke to some civil society actors and he put together their thoughts in the following report.
In the troubled Southwest region, some families are still confined to their homes, and some children are kept far from the halls of learning. Civil society voices echo with concern. The unarmed population, they say, is trapped, caught helplessly between the devil and the deep blue sea.
The non-state armed group, we call them ambas, we say it is a lockdown, no child is allowed to go outside. At the other hand, the government too will tell you, you ought to go to school. Now, where are we standing as the local population? We are being abandoned on ourselves because nobody cares about our own protection.
Worse still, the hunger for education consumes both parents and children alike. Yet, standing before the stark realities they face, their longing is met only with helplessness.
The children are at home because of the level of insecurity. It is not secured. There is no mother, there is no father who would like to offer, their children there when we know that it is not safe. So I know some people will say there will be military and so forth. But now if you have military in all the schools, what about all the homes?
Civil society leaders lament that by now, the government should have acted seeking creative ways for children to continue learning even in these dire times.
After 8 years, I think the administration would have known, would have anticipated this kind of situation, and they would have amplified the online learning that I think the minister had one time during the COVID period put in place. Where is it?
They urgently call for an end to the turmoil, for freedom of movement to be restored, and for every child across the Southwest region to reclaim their right to learn unhindered and unafraid wherever they may be.
And an association of support staff of state universities in Cameroon met in Douala this Wednesday in a press briefing to denounce poor working conditions in their sector. Amongst their grievances are equally low salaries, no promotion, and a disregard of their rights. Our reporter Malaglory has details of this press briefing that took place today.
These workers include secretaries, drivers, technicians, and others that help in the smooth functioning of university institutions. The Association of Support Staff of State Universities in Cameroon decry poor working conditions.
La dette liée, n'est-ce pas, au rappel, la revalorisation du SMIC de 2014.
It was in the course of a press briefing in Douala this Wednesday, September 17, that the trade union Sinapok reviewed their difficulties.
Depuis de trop nombreuses années, nos vies et nos carrières sont minées par des injustices qui ne peuvent plus durer.
For the past years, our lives and careers have faced a series of injustices that we can't take it anymore. We have 4 important points to make here today. 1. The announcement of the minimum wage rate of 2024. The second is a new salary grade which still doesn't favor us. We feel abandoned. This is because prices of basic commodities keep increasing while our salary and status remain the same. The third point, we work with no promotion. Lastly, we have discovered the recruitment of secondary school teachers to positions that are strictly meant for support staffs.
Nous avons constaté l'affectation de professeurs de lycée et d'instituteurs sur des postes qui sont traditionnellement dévoués au personnel d'appui des universités.
They also complain that their salary and status have not changed ever since the government increased the minimum wage rate in Cameroon. They now call on the head of state and the authorities concerned to address the matter in order to improve on their standard of living.
Now we talk politics. Professor Maurice Kamto has renewed his call on political parties or candidates to unite in their bid to unseat President Paul Biya in the October elections. In a statement issued on September 17, Kamto stressed that if the 11 opposition candidates rallied behind one of the most experienced contenders in politics and state governance, they could create an irresistible popular dynamic that will make victory inevitable against the CPDM candidate. Kamto added that even if full alignment behind a single candidate proves impossible, a powerful coalition of several candidates could still inspire great hope and trigger a comparable political momentum. Kamto appealed directly to the opposition candidates from the northern regions, describing them as too violent and worthy sons of Cameroon, calling on their patriotism, sense of duty and sacrifice to rise above personal ambitions and be present at this historic moment. Kamto also hinted that he and his party will soon be sharing their official position on the October 12 presidential election, promising to make their stance clear in the coming days. Issa Chuma Bakari and Bello Buba Magari, both former ministers in Bia's government and now presidential candidates, are now widely seen as key figures capable of rallying support to defeat President Paul Biya. However, reports of disagreement between them have recently emerged. And that's it for this first part of the news. Talking Point comes up next. And my guest tonight on Talking Point is Sir Dr. Barrister Nico HALLE, an election expert and also a peace crusader. And today we'll be looking at the rising trend of hate speech in Cameroon and how this phenomenon has brought about and could likely bring unrest in the country if care is not taken. Good evening, Dr. Barrister Nico HALLE. It's a pleasure to have you on Talking Point tonight.
I'll approach your concerns globally as a peace crusader and an expert in elections, and one who has had a mastery of the constitution of the nation, the electoral laws, the penal code, and all other legal documents accruing to elections, national and international. I think you must be joking when you say somebody is excluding others from any place. And I'm speaking generally. Nobody has the right to discriminate against anybody. The constitution of this nation is very clear. Each Cameroonian has the right to live anywhere on condition that he respects the laws of Cameroon. Yes, so that is it. So what you are describing, it's unacceptable, you know, and I'm now speaking generally, globally, because I don't want to address specific cases. I talk globally because we have cited one or two cases, but there are many, 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 many more cases. It shouldn't happen. It shouldn't happen. In an election, the people need a serene environment, conducive environment, harmonious environment to choose whoever will lead. And when they choose a president, the president is for the whole nation, regardless of where he comes from. So you don't have a right to stop anybody from, you know, voting the head of state or voting any person, or a parliamentarian, or a senator, you know, any person, a mayor. You don't have no right. You don't have no right. So that is what I would say. It's unfortunate that Cameroonians have not read the Constitution and all the other legal documents that have to do with elections, and that's why, you know, you have all of this gesticulation, and that is the cause of bad blood and hate speech. That's a form of hate speech, which the law condemns. The law condemns them.
As you rightly said, Barrister, you were talking about the recent incident that occurred recently about the senator, that is Francois Pouini, where in a 2 minutes 39 seconds video, she talked about the fact that non-indigents of Bafang, the Open Camp division, who are not supporting the CPDM party could be sent away. And now you have talked about how hate speech can fuel a lot of situations. Now, a lot of those fueling this hate speech often go unpunished. As a human rights defender, what factors contribute to the lack of enforcement of laws against hate speech in Cameroon?
Yeah, well, having the law is one thing. Punishing defaulters yet another. There are a lot of things done with impunity that you know. You know, laws are very, very clear. I was telling a group of people the other day, one thing having laws, and yet another respecting the laws, implementing the laws. You know, there are people who teach law, I train lawyers, I teach law, and I practice law. Who have not read the Constitution of the nation? You talk of the Penal Code, some people have not read it. There's this book on good governance, many people have not read it. The electoral laws, many people have not read, even though they are going in for elections. If you were to ask how many people have read the Constitution, I'm afraid not up to 2%. I would say it. Not up to 2%. Yes, just like I was telling a group of Christians already, that the constitution of the church, the Presbyterian Church in Cameroon, I don't know whether up to 1% of the Christians have read it. And that's why you see this, when you don't know, there's chaos, there's anarchy, there's disorder, sometimes, but remember, ignorance of the law is no excuse. Yes, whether you know the law or not, if you default and you are hooked, you pay dearly. Sanctions, either you go to penalties, you go to prison, or you pay heavy fines.
In a similar video or viral controversial outing, the Director of Cabinet at the National Assembly, Buka Abdurrahim, is captured blaming some ministers from his far north region of his origin of lack of regional mentality in their activities. To him, President Paul Biya points them to put their regions first before that of other regions. He questions why they can't develop the far north region like Emmanuel Ganu Jumesi, who has concentrated development in the west region, or that is his region of origin, and he equally brags that he's one of those good examples in the far north region because according to him, over 300 northerners now work in the National Assembly compared to the 50 which he met when he was appointed Director of Cabinet in 2014. Isn't this a clear case of nepotism?
And very dangerous for a nation. A minister is appointed for the nation. Any top, administrator is appointed for the entire nation, not for a particular village, tribe, division, subdivision, region, or a people. No, you are appointed to serve Cameroon. And if you don't know that, then you are only taking care of your people, your brothers, your sisters, your cousins, your nephews. And then it's unfortunate. A minister should employ, because how many regions do we have? How many departments do we have? How many, to be very honest with you, if we were to go in for equity, then every district should have a minister. Every subdivision should have a minister. Every division should have a minister. Every region should now have, of course, ministers. You can imagine then it will be. So they choose whether they have 30 ministers, 40 ministers. They are for the entire nation. We are a minister of this ministry. Make sure that you spread their tentacles to all the 10 regions and let development be even. If you don't do that, if you do it discriminatively, discriminating against certain people, then you should not be there. You get a point. So that is my take, and this is according to law.
As a human rights defender, what can be done to ensure that propagators of hate speech are held accountable?
Yeah, the law is very clear. If you get into the penal code, Cameroon penal code, I think it's Article 151, Section 151, Section 241, and 242. They all sanction those cases, sanction seriously, and I have a term of imprisonment and fine. So, but people who don't understand, who have not read the penal code and also the Constitution, who are not even good governance, that book, beautiful book, Good Governance, they will just go around. You know, you become a politician without reading the documents that accrue to becoming a politician. So you are just there. So I'm talking generally. That is it.
What measures can be taken to ensure peace and stability before, during, and after the upcoming elections in Cameroon, given the fears of potential violence and unrest?
Before the elections, we are Cameroonians. During the elections, we are Cameroonians. After the elections, we are still Cameroonians. My prayer, and that is, I say, the icing of the cake, is that we should go on our knees and pray. But remember, faith without action is dead. We should respect the laws. The Electoral Code is there. Do we respect it? Have we respected it? The Constitution of the nation is there. Do we respect it? Have we respected it? And all the international conventions. International, you know, all the declarations of human rights. Do we respect human rights? Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Do we respect? It's a call for all of us. All. Nobody's exempted. Don't consider yourself a half human being. You are a full human being, created in the image of God. The Lord created us in his image, and that's why he says all of us are equal. Equal. Penal code is very clear. The penal code is very clear. When you violate, when you're found in a deviant behavior, deviant act that causes hurt, you are not patriotic. Each time I leave my house in the morning after prayers, I ask myself, Lord, what can I do in order to put smiles on people's faces? What can I do in order to glorify your name? You don't have in your mind you must hurt somebody. If you must bring somebody in order to rise, remember when I did elections in Cameroon and abroad, I said anybody who gets into power by fraud, by rigging, by unorthodox means, you will rig everything, beginning from the resources of the nation, you rig the youth, you rig all generations, you rig everything that you meet there. Put the people, not holier than thou. There's no perfect human being, but people who have some moral and spiritual values that, they can take care of God's people.
Sir Dr. Barrister Nico HALLE, peace expert, that is election expert and peace crusader. Thank you so much for your time. That's what put a cap to today's special edition of the 6 p.m. primetime newscast on Equinoxe Television. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for always staying with us. Have a wonderful evening in the company of interesting programs on Equinoxe Television. Bye-bye for now.